I'm not allowed to take my flamethrower and Winn-Dixie anymore. It's the day of the Flaming Dragon here at Crain and Company. To my left, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn. And on this day, it's a beautiful day that the Lord has blessed us with. We know who is to my right. Go ahead and do it.
This is Flaming Dragon!
Sad Dragon. Sad Dragon.
Is it Friday already? Does this
Friday.
count if there was Monday off for President's Day? This is
It still
technically
counts.
4 days into the...
Yeah,
From the calendar,
technically,
it
it's
still
still Friday day.
It is.
So.
It is a
Try to
Saturday
get out of
Friday
that
because of
one.
last night. Today, we're going to discuss whether college football should have spring games or not after some teams canceled them. Is Nebraska running scared from Tennessee? And we pour out one for our friends over at Hooters. Flaming Dragon, tell them about the chat.
Yeah, what's up, chat? Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate on topic, guess what? It's going to get read. All donations will get read at the end of the show. If you a bunch of polls today that you get to decide the winner. So congratulations. Congratulations on this Flaming Dragon Friday. You get to feel important. David, something's going on over there, isn't it?
1-855-236-3228. That's a phone number. And if you call that phone number today at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, on the other end, we're going to pick up and we're going to talk to you. And you can give us your hottest take and you get 60 seconds. And if Kirk from Canada calls in, boy, I've got some...
No, I've already been messaged on social media after my rant yesterday that some Canadians will be calling in today. And that's okay because I want to talk to them.
We want
Call
the
in,
smoke.
eh?
Yeah, no, we want to.
Y'all get 60 seconds.
We're not afraid to duck it before y'all come.
$15 for terrorists every time you call.
Yeah, it's exactly right. All right, let's celebrate the start of the weekend here on Crain and Company. Texas and USC have announced they won't play a spring game, and good for them, because from a coach's point of view, spring games are about as useful as a blind darts player, and they're dangerous. But there's a way to fix it. You don't have to abolish it. See, spring games should be played against smaller in-state opponents. Like, for example, Alabama should play UAB, and Auburn should play Troy. It's the best of both worlds because, like the Senior Bowl, the most useful part of the practices of spring practice, it's not the games, it's the actual practices. And most coaches understand that the spring game is really for the fans. And most coaches would really just prefer another practice or an actual opponent for the game. Now, you could pay the smaller school to come play you, so you keep money in state, which is good politically, and it helps out the little guy. You can actually play against a scheme that the players don't know by heart because they've seen it every single day. And even if you play your backups and for some reason lose, it doesn't look nearly as bad because it's not a regular season game. The fans would get an even better atmosphere, and the teams could actually get something out of it. So we don't need to abolish spring games. Just play an actual opponent. It's that simple. See, David, there, I fixed it. What, you have a problem with that?
Yes.
You actually have a problem with that. I thought you just had a problem with not playing a spring game. You're so hard to please.
I didn't realize this was my calling in 2025. I'm on a mission to save spring games. Here's the part that I don't understand. The spring games are already like a practice, or all of them are different. I can only speak to the ones that I was involved with, and maybe the coach just wanted to be on the field because, I really needed to be nursed along. But the coaches are already on the field. You're running through game day schematics and logistics. It's already kind of like a practice. You're not putting your starters in jeopardy more than you would on any other practice. Here's my thing. So all I want is spring football practice to culminate with a public event in the stadium of some sort. We're 4 months after football season and 4 months before the next football season starts. I love it when a fan base gets to come out to the stadium. I can't speak to Texas and USC, but Nebraska, who canceled theirs, they were selling out their spring game. If 60,000 people want to come out, I think that's awesome. So I'm trying to find common ground with you because I think we can have it. If they call it the spring practice game, are you okay with that? I mean, if you play a smaller opponent, which I guess that could be cool too, aren't you putting your players at even more risk to get hurt than you would if you're kind of going through this public display of a practice?
See, I don't think so. To me, honestly, having been in the rooms with the coaches, most of them, I think, And I'm offering a scenario that helps out the fans too. Just from a coaching perspective, they don't want to play a game. Like they would.
So what's your definition of a game? That's where I think we can find common ground.
Listen, other places do it different, right? We have weird scoring ranges. They change the formats and stuff like that. But to me, one of the reasons that it's like a long team period. That's really what it is, right? And you can change. You can go 1s versus 2s, 2s versus 2s, 2s versus 3s, or whatever.
We used to do all those.
We used to do all of them, but. Having it, and it's not really from an injury risk standpoint. I think you have the same chance of getting injured if you play an inter-squad.
So that's not your reasoning.
That's not my reasoning.
And your reasoning is not you don't want the public to see something.
No, I'm not trying to hide that either. Because
that's what Matt Rule said at Nebraska. And I don't want people to see the players' tape. Brother, they know who's good.
And again, you run base stuff during the spring game. You're not running all your trick plays and showing everybody the goods, right? Or putting something on film that if I know you run an RPO offense, you're not going to shock me when you're going out there running RPOs. Or if you're a zone run team or you're heavier zone or you're heavier gap scheme or whatever, that's not going to surprise anybody. And you can do that against an opponent. Y'all can call base plays, right? I mean, we see all the time people dial it back in scrimmages. We see when NFL teams scrimmage against each other. They're not running all their good stuff. They just want to play against a different opponent. I mean, even as a player, you guys know this. You get so sick of hitting the same guys over and over again, and you know what the other side is doing. I knew whenever we'd practice or play a spring game what our offensive calls were. It was so hard for me not to be like, they're going to run smash to the boundary. But my guys already knew that. So at least by bringing in a different opponent, it's more fun for the fans, right? Because you're getting different schemes, and you can actually be like, hey, it's our team versus another team. Because during the spring game, if a big play happens, your team also screwed up.
Yeah,
so I think from an
Let me just run this experiment out real quick, just to put program faces to it here. Let's say Auburn was going to have their spring game and play South Alabama.
Which they're playing in the regular season this year, believe it or not.
Okay, there you go. It's going to be hard for Auburn to not want to win that thing that's a competition, right? Like I know NFL teams do it all the time and they have to set their egos aside and say, look, preseason is preseason. We're not trying to win this. We're trying to get younger guys reps. It's hard. It's going to be hard to go out there in Jordan-Hare Stadium when your fans come out and just play your 3s or some of your 2s who need work and not try and beat South Alabama, right?
Well, if it was a regular season game and you were trying to hold some people back and not risk injury or whatever, yes. But I think South Alabama goes into that game realizing, hey, even if we win a spring game, it's not like we beat them during the fall. It's not like we beat them.
Or do you even keep score?
Most. So, you keep score. But to be honest with you, even in normal spring games, ones play a few series and then get out, right? That's typically. Sometimes guys get held out if they're older and they don't need to go through it and you don't need to risk it. But South Alabama's got to go through a season too. They got to play in the Sun Belt too. So how long is South Alabama going to keep their ones out there versus Auburn's ones or something? So I think it kind of equals it out. And South Alabama, Flaming Dragon, doesn't want to show all they're going to show either. So if you're Auburn playing South Alabama or playing Troy, or if you're Alabama and you're playing UAB or North Alabama or something, you should be able to go out there and run peanut butter and jelly and beat them anyway, let alone when they're running peanut butter and jelly too.
I just don't what's the point of having a spring game? Tell me, is it for the fans?
Well, again, I don't care if we call it a spring game. There was nothing that was game-like about it other than I think your fans, if 60,000 people want to show up and watch Nebraska in the spring, if 60,000 people wanted to watch me stand on my head tomorrow, guess what I'm doing, brother? Get those feet in the air because we're going to sell some tickets here. It's just like, why are we removing something that fans want to come out and see, even if it's just the final practice? I mean, you have 15 practices usually in spring, right? Yeah. So the 15th one wasn't that different other than you've like cut individual drills and you put it in the stadium and fans can come out and see it. So I don't know. Maybe we can come to terms on what a game definition is. But if you take South Alabama and make them go to Auburn, South Alabama now doesn't get to have one.
And I've talked about this, and I've seen on social media most of the reactions I've gotten. And again, we have to be able to separate totally abolishing a spring game and then what I'm saying and playing an opponent for the spring game, because that's even better for the fans. Sometimes, and with the way ticket prices are now, I've had people on social media be like, Jake, that's the only game I can afford to go to.
That's another point.
So you can do that and make a gate and pay that smaller school. Let those fans come out and see it and actually get something more out of the game other than just praying to God to get through it like most coaches do.
Does every team charge tickets to come to a spring game?
I don't know. Some of them
I don't know if every
free.
team
I don't know. I think it fluctuates. But to Jake's point, whether they're free or whether it's cheaper, I've heard people say as well, I can't even afford regular season tickets anymore. The spring game gives me an opportunity to take my son to see a football game.
And it helps local businesses.
And some of my earliest memories, again, going to Paulson Stadium and watching Georgia Southern do this. So I'm glad you brought that point up. But I wonder if you have an Auburn, South Alabama, or Alabama, Troy, or Georgia, Georgia Southern situation, do fans not want to go see that as much as the team play a quote-unquote, glorified practice? Because they say, well, Auburn might play South Alabama in the regular season anyway, or why would I want to go see that? Will they get even more excited about the prospect of just having the team play each other?
Go to practice.
Well, I think they'd get more excited about watching their team and being able to just root for their team individually against another team. It gives you somebody to root against as well. Because, again, you go back to the spring game, if your offense is bombing on your defense, the first thing you hear after the game isn't, oh, my God, we're so good on offense. It's, oh, my God, we're terrible on defense. So I think more fans would want to go see it. You don't have to charge as much. Because again, and you brought up, what teams do, or like the running of the Gumps at Alabama, where they let all the fans run on the field and sign autographs. You can still do that after the game. Have the players stay after and sign autographs and meet the fans and this, that, or the other. And then you have two of them. And South Alabama wants to stay after, and their fans or people that drove up to watch them want to get autographs. You could get both of them. So I think there's a way to kind of find that middle ground between either just totally abolishing spring games or keeping it exactly the same. I think this would soup it up and make it better. I really believe that.
All right, let's get to chat. Let's go to a $10 donation from The Battle. What's up, man? He says, if we cancel spring games, how will fans stay engaged in the offseason? Feels like the college football already has too long of a break.
Well, I look, would it upset some people? Yes. You're not going to stop loving college football. I don't know one person who's like, you know what? I'm done with college football because Alabama didn't have a spring game this year. I'm done with it. I'll never watch it again. I don't think it's that big of a deal, or that it's a big enough deal where people would stop caring about it. I mean, with the transfer portal window, and that's another thing. We talk about the spring transfer portal window. That's something else that needs to be fixed, but we've talked about that till we're blue in the face. I don't think it's a big enough thing where it would just turn off like 20% of people.
No.
You're still going to be there in the fall. You're still going to be keeping up with recruiting. You're still going to be keeping up with every time news breaks about your team.
No, for sure. No one's going to stop loving college football. But what about that 8-year-old kid who goes and that's his one chance to get to go to the stadium? Even if he sees nothing more than the stadium and he sees the electricity of all the people around him and he falls in love with the sport on that one day because his dad got to afford to take him to the spring game.
And it's a recruiting.
Like, those are the sorts of fans that you might be missing out on who create this love for the game like we did when we were younger.
Yeah. That's why I don't want it just taken all fully away. I think there's a way around it.
$1.99 donation from Sit on My Tailgate. It's pretty good, man. Spring games are huge for recruitment and fan engagement, but canceling them hurt smaller schools trying to compete with the big schools.
Would canceling them hurt smaller schools trying to compete with the big schools? Not sure really how that adds up, but to the point we've been making, the spring game is for the fans mainly. No, there's very rarely been a time where, and it's very similar to the week at the Senior Bowl. Guys don't get drafted really based off the game. They've got a ton of game tape. They get drafted based off the practices. I have never sat in a coach's staff meeting after a spring game, whether it's right after it or 2 days after, where we're like, you know what? He loses his starting position because Ronald had 120 yards in the spring game. You already pretty much have your mind made up how it's going to go.
I wonder if it could be an NIL game. Like if you could turn whatever the spring environment with the fans is into an NIL play.
Somebody's about to take
in
that
the
idea
day.
now. Somebody is going to watch this. That's a brilliant idea.
There you go.
Hey, the money you buy this ticket with will go to our NIL.
I'm sorry, but I got to go make a couple calls.
Go ahead. Call your lawyer. That was a good one.
All right, the poll. Should the spring game be canceled in college football? Yes, no, or I don't care. Yes, coming in at 27%. No, 38%. I don't care, 35%.
I don't care,
that
really.
Kind of reflects the social media polls I put out, too.
Pretty mixed.
Yeah.
Well, speaking about mixed, when it comes to dark roast, light roast, and everything in between, the mix over at Black Rifle Coffee is absolutely perfect. They even have a coffee quiz that you can take online if you may not know what blend fits you the best. And again, they do have a ton of different flavors. Silencer Smooth, Gunship, Power Llama, the espresso that Coney drinks.
I'm on Blackbeard's Delight.
You're on Blackbeard's Delight right now?
Mm-hmm.
Hopping on the pirate ship, taking some chances?
Yeah.
Feel dangerous, but also safe.
Are you Barbosa?
Huh?
Are you Barbosa?
For sure.
I love that.
Every morning.
You're 100% Barbosa type guy. And a portion of every purchase you make goes to help those who help us, first responders and veteran causes. So not only are you getting great coffee from a great company, you're also supporting the people that help make our lives easier and do those dangerous jobs. So head to blackriflecoffee.com right now. Use code DailyWire, it's just one word, for 20% off America's best coffee, supporting America's best causes. That is blackriflecoffee.com. Use code DailyWire. All right, Coney, let's move.
All right, boys, Nebraska and Tennessee are canceling their home-and-home series that was planned. Do you have the details on this? It seems like Nebraska might be ducking out on this.
Yeah, and Danny White, Tennessee's AD, put out on social media, I believe, that Tennessee did not cancel this game.
Yeah.
Nebraska canceled this game. And the reasoning for that is that they wanted 8 home games in 2027 where they're going to have reduced capacity because of stadium renovations. And I guess I understand that thought to a certain extent. But optically, from a perception standpoint, one, this just looks bad on you. It looks like you're running. And I'm not saying that deep down they really are, because I don't know that for a fact. But just the way that it looks, this looks like Nebraska is scared of Tennessee. That's the way it looks. That's the way it's going to be pitched in recruiting. I'm telling you right now, Heupel and his staff, if it ever comes down to Tennessee and Nebraska, best believe that this is going to get brought up. So regardless of if it's with good intentions or they really were scared, this just looks really, really bad. And I think it's bad for college football overall. First off, you scheduled the game. You decided to do the renovations. That's on you, brother.
I still don't understand the renovations part. What is them wanting? Everybody wants to have 8 home games. Yeah, okay. What does the renovations have to do?
It's that they're not going to have as many people there, I'm guessing. It's not going to be that good of a home field advantage, which, again, when you phrase it like that, makes it sound like a cop-out. That's what it sounds like to me.
Oh,
it sounds like
to me, it just feels like they don't want to play Tennessee now that they've seen how the 12-team college football playoff is working.
And that still looks
these
just
programs
bad.
are trying to get out of marquee matchups, even though if the SEC and the Big Ten have their way with the new college football playoff expansion,
They're gonna play
there may be a SEC Big Ten crossover series anyway, and they can't get out of that.
This just surprises me from Nebraska. Because say what you want about Nebraska, I never looked at Nebraska as scared. But that's exactly what this looks like. This is a bad look. And I know we have a lot of Nebraska fans that watch this show. And I'm sure you'll give me reason A, B, C, and D of why this was smart or why you're not scared. But I'm just telling you, from the 30,000-foot view, from the macro view of college football, it looks like the cornfields are shaking in their boots having to see what Tennessee's bringing down the
Is this a legit reason for Nebraska?
Will Compton, I didn't know y'all were this soft.
Oh, Will.
Soft.
I wonder
Soft
what
to
he
me.
thinks about
I think Matt Rule's just upset because he's supposed to be where Josh Heupel is. Wait, what's Matt in his third year? Third year at Nebraska. I think Josh is out of his 4th year in Tennessee. I mean, Josh and them already go in the playoffs. I've only heard bad things coming out of Nebraska. I've only heard bad things lately coming out of Nebraska. He was supposed to be the fixer. The guy who fixes Nebraska. When is that happening? Year 3? Well, I guess it got moved now to what coaches can get judged on. But right now, it's just there's not a lot of good optics coming out for Nebraska. Not only this, but multiple things in the past. Josh Heupel is where Matt Rule wants to be, and he didn't want that contrast on a Saturday.
Well, now if you're Tennessee, this is the perfect opportunity to schedule somebody that sucks. Just somebody that you're going to beat to death. Because it's not your fault. Hey, we didn't cancel it. We wanted to play Nebraska. We wanted to play them here, and then we wanted to go there, but they canceled. So now we're going to play Helen Keller State. Right, if y'all can find y'all's way up here.
Helen Keller State.
Yeah, who actually had a pretty good year last year. Won 4 games.
Nebraska fans, I want you to call in today. Those phone lines open in 12 minutes. I want to hear those legitimate reasons from you. And also Tennessee fans, don't be afraid to call in and say your piece as well.
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Next one up, Wisconsin head coach Luke Fickell has gotten a contract extension, a 1-year extension. I'm surprised by this. Wisconsin coming off of a losing season. His original contract, which was signed in 2022, was already a 7-year deal. So it's not like it was up and they were trying to decide whether to keep him or give him more time or whatever. A contract extension for Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. What are your thoughts?
I guess the reasoning would be they want to show sturdy stability in a college athletics world where stability is out the window, whether it's roster, whether it's coaches, whatever. Maybe this is a message to recruits that he's going to be here even longer. But, I mean, last time I looked at the calendar, we're in 2025. he had a 7-year deal that he signed in 2022. Not a mathematician, but that gets you safe through 2029. So that's a whole recruiting cycle. That's a 4 years of, if you signed in this class, Luke Fickell is going to be your coach. This just almost makes it seem like, and I know this may sound ass backwards to people, are they worried? Like, is this like an insecurity thing for Wisconsin? Like, not that, and Luke Fickell may end up doing great. I hope he does. I'm a Luke Fickell fan. Obviously, the Phil Longo experiment didn't work. Van Dyke got hurt last year. It hadn't been going super smooth for him so far there in Madison, and that schedule next year isn't exactly a walk through the tulips. But is this like, hey, we're kind of worried, so we're just going to extend him for even longer to shut up any of the haters? I'm trying to find a way. Now, David, to your point, if his contract was up this year or next year, and there was whispers about, hey, it hasn't gone great yet, maybe they're going to fire him, maybe they move it on, I could understand giving him an extension. I get that, but that's not the case. So the only way I can view this was Wisconsin worried that either A, he would go somewhere else, which I don't think would be the case, or are they trying to talk themselves into he's going to fix it eventually and we're going to prove that we're still behind him or whatever? I really can't.
You have Wisconsin's football schedule for 2025?
I can pull it up right now.
Can you pull that up quick?
But David, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like this, I'm not.
Yeah.
The math don't add up to me.
Which, I'd love Wisconsin fans listening right now to call in today and share their thoughts on this. One, just the idea of giving him an extension, but two, the timing of it. Like we said, you were already good through 2029, unless I've misread something. That's how I read the original contract. 2025, Wisconsin, what you got?
All right, you start the year off Miami, Ohio at home. Middle Tennessee State at home. Then you're at Alabama.
Yep.
Maryland at home. You're at Michigan. Iowa at home. Ohio State at home, at Oregon, Washington at home, at Indiana, Illinois at home, at Minnesota.
So you play Alabama on the road, you play Michigan on the road, you play Oregon on the road, you get the Buckeyes at home, no Penn State on there, but Indiana was on the road as well.
Illinois, who I think is going to be down.
They get Illinois at home, right?
Illinois at home, yes, correct.
And Indiana on the road.
Indiana's on the road. That's a stretch right there.
What'd you have them in the win total? Did you have 4-8?
I think I had them 4-8. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to think either at all. Interesting. I don't get it.
All right, boys. Next one up here, former Georgia quarterback, current Miami Hurricanes quarterback, Carson Beck, and his girlfriend, Hannah Cavender, the basketball player at Miami, collectively had 3 vehicles stolen overnight in South Beach. This was earlier in the week. A Lamborghini, a Mercedes, and Cavender's SUV. I know this is a tough story for you. Or are you happy to know that this happens to other people too?
Can you set it up by telling the people why this is tough for you, what's happened with you and your car?
Yeah, I just don't understand why y'all are trying to piss me off today.
No, look.
This is the news.
Open up.
We lost yesterday. USA lost. They're canceling Hooters, and now I have to deal with this? Let me tell you, let's walk into the life of Blaine for a day.
Oh, you can't say it either. You just said your name. That's a minus.
So we're plus.
We didn't even set the line yet.
We're plus one.
I mean, I already got butchered earlier, so I'm not even worried about it at this point. My car is basically, I don't know how, it's basically just Black Friday, right? Every time someone sees my car, they're like, how can I somewhat either steal something or break into this place? I've gotten my windows smashed 3 times. Wake up, see your windows smashed. I've got my car stolen once. I had to go pick it up 300 miles away. Not only did he steal my car, but that jackass used my Chick-fil-A gift card, my Taco Bell gift card, and smoked Pall Malls in my damn car.
See, that's the worst offense.
So, yeah, I hope terrible things. Gift card, I'm not an evil guy, but I hope terrible things happen to you and the rest of your lineage for time as time goes on.
Do you think it was the same guy who stole Carson Beck's car? Or these
How did he get from Nashville to Miami? Where are the cops? Where are they?
It's not.
There's one guy stealing cars.
There's one guy, and it's Nicolas Cage, and he was gone in 60 seconds.
If it was Nicolas Cage, I'd be cool with it.
Is it bad that when I first heard this story, they were like, yeah, they got 3 cars stolen. And then they were like, yeah, Carson Beck's got a Lambo and a Mercedes? Man, college changed a lot since I went there. It's changed a lot. You're in a little bit above average quarterback. We'll see what happens at Miami in the ACC. And you had a jet NIL deal. You're driving around in a Lambo and you got a Mercedes. Man, it must be good to be Carson Beck, dude.
And her car got stolen. I hope there was
She got it back though.
I hope there was no premarital sleepovers happening because they got their car stolen.
Oh, there's some premarital going on. There's a lot of premarital going on, if you know what I'm saying.
No, kids better not be holding hands.
Y'all better call
Leave
in
enough room for Jesus.
5 minutes, those lines open.
These our dances.
Last one here, just because I know like this hit all of us. Hooters is filing for bankruptcy.
How does this happen?
I
thought this was the greatest.
I was hoping
ever.
y'all could tell me.
I think, okay, first off, it's sad. I'm super sad, dog. Because if Hooters is failing, we're failing as a country. There is not a better business plan, I thought, than having pretty good food. Hooters got good food. The Daytona wings go hard. You can say what you want, all right? And having good-looking women wearing skimpy clothes serving it at a sports bar place. I mean, that sounds like a pretty sturdy plan to your boy.
But people were posting on social media that they've fallen off.
They
letting dudes work
have the
there.
Girls fallen off at Hooters. Is this look, you got a PhD.
Oh, I was talking about the
stuff.
chicken wings.
Huh? You went there for the food?
Daytona.
Here, look at the camera and lie.
The Daytona wings.
I
Look
just
at
don't
the
know
camera
what
lie
we're
again.
becoming as a country. Like,
Did the girls fall off? Like
for sure, the one here, and I'm trying to be nice.
Easy.
And I said it wasn't great.
Why wasn't it great? Was the aesthetics not what you wanted?
Chicken overcooked.
The food was okay. The girls weren't great.
Yeah.
The service wasn't great. No one seemed excited to be there, and there's always a creepy manager walking around Hooters freaking everybody.
Well, that's standard.
But it's just, it's I don't know. Where do we go from here?
Is it when we started letting the models be fat? Is this when this started?
Yes, and also it was because they never took the initiative for the at-home delivery service called Knockers.
I always thought that was a great idea.
You know what I mean? The offshoot.
Yeah, I always thought that was a
bring
great
your food
idea.
to us.
I've got a couple ideas for how they could come back, but I'm going to save that for locker room talk. It's a little bit of
I got one.
flashers. I'm not going to get too.
It's called Dumpies. Dumpies? Dumpies.
Dude, stop. But honestly though, didn't something happen where like there were lawsuits from like Hooters' own people that they're like, oh well, they said I have to be this weight or this size and I got to look like this. Dude, that's the whole point. If you don't want that, go work at Chili's.
You know how Al Pacino got around that in
whoa,
Ocean's 13?
How?
He hired them as models.
That's
you're a model.
that's what Twin Peaks does, right? Twin Peaks hires them as models that also serve food.
Don't they do that?
But like as far as the service
don't
goes,
know.
let's be honest.
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
let's be honest.
Why y'all both keep looking at me over here?
As far as the service goes, if you're good looking enough, I'll wait an extra.
I'll lie. I will lie and tell you the food is good. If you're good looking enough, I'll lie to your face.
Yeah.
The service has been amazing. Hell, I even tip you good. If you're good looking enough, I will. Is that bad on my part? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm trying to be nice. If you were...
Let me ask you before we get to the chat.
See,
'cause I'm really
getting
interested in that. Like, what on a scale of 1 to 10 from a rating? Where is the line of where you can work at Hooters? Is it 7 out of 10? Anything below that? Hey, you got to be in the kitchen.
I don't know. I'm a married man now. So
No, that's why I'm asking Flamin' Dragon. I'm asking Flamin' Dragon.
And this is just from a scientific
yeah,
standpoint.
of course.
It's just you can't work at Hooters and be fat.
So scientific.
Like to be a waitress.
So scientific.
To be a cook, the fatter the cook, the better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want some skinny guy in there cooking. I don't want that. I don't want that. I want that dude to be a huge chick. I don't care. It's just like if your whole brand is hot chicks and wings, I don't need that girl from that one video who's screaming "My body, my choice" in there. Ask me what appetizer I want.
But she can cook.
And why did the
If she can whip it up, let her whip it up.
She can fry the wings.
Yeah, it's
Whip
like-
it in the kitchen's a different
It's like
level.
where are half the potato skins I ordered? Like what happened to them on the way out? Was there some casualties on the way out?
My goodness.
Anyways, well let's move on. Let's get to the chat.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be in so much trouble after this, and y'all set me up.
No, it
Y'all
didn't.
know
Look,
that.
this is your bag, baby.
All right, let's go to a $10 donation from the Big Red Breakdown.
go.
What's up, man? He says, is Matt Rule still trying to rebuild Nebraska into a national brand? If so, why avoid a high-profile game that could prove your back?
That's what, it's my whole point, man. This just doesn't look good. So now, if you're Nebraska, you better schedule somebody good. Because just like I said, Tennessee can schedule Helen Keller State and get away with it because y'all backed out. Nebraska, you better, but then you look stupid for scheduling another good team. Why wouldn't you just stay with Tennessee? I just think it's a bad look, 360 view of it.
$1.99 donation from Master Debate. What's up, man? Says, would Nebraska have canceled this game if Tennessee did not make the playoffs and was mediocre last year?
I don't know, but it does not help your cause that they did, and they're bringing Oh Boy back.
Let's go to the Energy Man with a $2 donation. How bad is it for college football when teams can just cancel a game this late into the process without real consequences?
Well, the answer, the words you used there that were the best were this late in the process. Because, I mean, we're not too far removed from teams scheduling games in like 2034. Like, if this game was in 2034 and Nebraska's like, hey, that asteroid's supposed to hit, we don't, whatever. Like, okay, you gave us 8 years. I can understand it. Nobody knows how good Tennessee will be in 8 years or Nebraska. But, dude, this is like 2026 and 2027. Like, this is like on deck, like getting ready to step in the box. It's just a bad look.
Let's go to a $2 donation from the Tweak. Appreciate it. Hooters is mid. Twin Peaks for life, and you can get the huge beer boots when you're there.
I will say, can I say this about Twin Peaks? I'm not trying to give any free advertising. I'm a huge fan of, they tell you the temperature of the beer in there. So like,
do they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Twin Peaks. Because you got the other ones that use this are like, that use this style or structure, let's just put it that way. It's like Twin Peaks. And then there's one called like Tilted Kilt, right? Which I've never been there, but just by the name, I feel like I'm right.
All right, let's go to a $2 donation from the Doe. Appreciate it, man. God, that was just all in my ears. Blaine, will you please explain slowly what Dumpies is?
Tell them.
No.
Tell them what Dumpies is.
Oh, DM me.
No,
DM
nope. You said it.
me.
You said it just
I'm
from
not
a
doing that.
PG-13. But it's like Hooters, but there's more emphasis on the other side.
Yeah.
Not men, but like.
Well, it goes back to the
butts
debate,
and stuff.
the age-old debate. Are we a boob country or are we an ass country? All right? And I think from the analytics I've gathered,
that's a poll.
the data I've
There's a
gathered,
poll.
that we're more of an ass country. All right? So what do I call big butts? Dump trucks. All right? That's what I call them. So, Dumpies.
But who would want to say tonight?
I know it's not that.
The mind of the flaming dragon.
Great.
Fridays are just.
I know it doesn't sound great.
I'll tell you what, when your movie takes off and when your restaurant takes off,
No, what-
we're not even going to be able to
Look,
get
the
in touch
thing
with
about-
him.
the
We're going to be calling him
thing
and
about
be
me-
too good
Hey man,
for
can
it.
I get a table at?
I'll have
Dumpies
20
for $4?
ideas. 19 of them are terrible. But there's one in there. Like the steroid Olympics. Look at it now.
It's your idea.
Look at it
Enhanced
now.
names.
No one wants to back me here. But when one of the Trumps and Elon Musk come out and say, do it, great idea. How can I help?
I backed you. I thought it was.
Everyone in this show backed me. I still think it'd be a great idea. But now.
And that, like, you were calling for that for years.
Yeah,
and
he
now
wanted to see how
That's
far the
wild.
human body could go.
That's
How far they
wild.
really
And
could
they're
go.
doing it.
And they're doing it.
All right. Well, let's get to locks, leans, and dogs. Those phone lines, Coney. They're
Phone lines are open. Call in now, 1-855-236-3228. The hot take hotline, except for Kirk in Canada. He can't call in.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if the Canadians call in, if the phones still work up there. All right, this weekend, we're doing locks, leans, and dogs, college basketball edition. Some really good matchups, guys. Bama's hosting Kentucky at home. Bama's lost 2 in a row. They haven't led in the last 2 games at all versus Auburn or Missouri. So Kentucky coming to town. I think Alabama's going to bounce back. You got Houston hosting Iowa State. I think game day is going to be there. College game day is going to be there. That's a hell of a game in the Big 12. You got Tennessee going to Texas A&M, which, I mean, that's basically a football game they're going to play on a basketball court. I'm interested to see the numbers on that one. So, locks, leans, and dogs. Here are my locks. Bama and Kentucky. If I see the word Alabama, to me, that is basically Korean for take the over. So, you look at Kentucky offensively, don't know the health status of Jackson Robinson. They need him, but with Owe, Amaris Williams, those guys, they've been putting up some big numbers. I'm going to take the over at 177.5, and I have never felt better about a lock than I do that one going off at -110. Then this one, I waffled back and forth on this one, fellas. A&M.
Waffled?
I waffled. That's a verb.
I get it.
I went back and
It
forth.
sounded stupid when you said it.
Okay, well, you look stupid when you say things. So Texas A&M is hosting Tennessee. I know a lot of people are going to be on this under. That's why I'm going over, because I think we're going to go into overtime. I think the final score of this one, give me Texas A&M 71, Tennessee 67.
Dude, are our locks exactly the same?
Are they the same? They might be. So I'm taking the over at 131.5.
Bet buds right
A&M
here.
in Tennessee. Let's go. Let's go. You got to feel it, believe it, become it. My leans, Bama -8.5. They got to bounce back. They're trying to hold on that number 1
Do
seed.
they?
Lenardi still has them as the number 1 seed. All right. I got him -8.5 over Kentucky. I just don't trust Kentucky on the road, even though they did beat Tennessee, at home. They smoked Vandy, who is also my money line. all right, that I'm taking this weekend at minus 110. Really love what Mark Byington's done. If you didn't have what Dennis Gates was doing and Bruce Pearl was doing, I think Mark Byington would be up there for coach in the SEC. So give me Vandy money line at home against Ole Miss in Nashville this weekend. And then my dogs. A&M money line, like I said, plus 105. Then Oklahoma, I'm going to take them on the money line at home this weekend, plus 124. Porter Moser needs it. They're still, I think Lenardi had them like the first 4 out. So they still have a chance. And if they don't make the tournament, I think they're going to fire old buddy, who just looks like Brent Venables to me. I can't shake it. But, Cone, what do you got?
First off, I love it. I have the exact same locks, and I promise I did not see them in advance. Alabama, Kentucky over 177.5 minus 110. Look, I'm just going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to go ahead and lock in every Alabama over until further notice.
It's smart.
That Missouri game that I just watched, what Missouri put 110. Yeah, no, I'm taking every over. And even before that, that line was like 174 or something. I thought, man, that's high. They score like 200 points or something. Yeah. I'm also going to take the over in the Tennessee-Texas A&M game. I feel better about it now that I see you take it. I got it at 120.
Well, I want that. Can I take that at 129?
Have that. I found it at 129.5 right when those lines came out today. Again, great defensive teams. I know all that, the physicality, but to me, it's about where that number is, especially at 129. I think, and I think we're going to be in for a close basketball game, and overtime could come in.
Dude, I mean, you get 65-65. That hits, brother.
60. So I was thinking the same thing. 66-64, that hits. All right, I'm leaning BYU plus 7.5 minus 110 on the road at Arizona. Risky pick here, but BYU 3 straight wins, and the way they just drummed Kansas, I like them with the 7.5 points. If you want money line, you go and do your own thing. Illinois plus 10.5 minus 110. This is even a riskier play, and this game is not at home. Don't get confused when you see this on ESPN. This is actually at Madison Square Garden. They're going to take on Duke, but 10.5 points is a lot in a basketball game. Duke has a player out, right?
Duke's, I think the Brown kid, the back, one of their front court guys who comes in for Malawatch is out. I don't know if anybody else is either.
Let's be on the lookout for that.
Or Flag.
The Illinois plus 10.5 taking on Duke in Madison Square Garden. And then my dogs, I'm going to take Auburn money line plus the under 148.5. Same game parlay there. That's plus 100. And then I agree with you on the Texas A&M playing at home plus 105. Of all the dogs this weekend, that's the one I like.
All right, I love it. Let's get into it. Kentucky plus 8.5. Justice, that's my fault. I didn't even send you the odds. But that's going off at minus 110. I'm taking Mississippi State money line, going off at minus 122. And for my leans, Tennessee money line, minus 120. BYU plus 7.5, going off at minus 110. And then my dogs, rough. Iowa State money line, plus 245. And give me Oregon money line, plus 270. Iowa State's on the road at Houston. I think they'll win that game.
Man, I tell you, since Iowa State got Momcilovic back, I know I said that wrong probably. That offense is starting to look like it did earlier in the year when they were rocking and rolling. They played a hell of a game against Auburn. Auburn won at the buzzer with a tip-in from Janai Broom. Oregon money line, huh?
Sneaky.
All right. Phone lines are open. Let's get to the chat, and then we'll go to the phone lines, Cone.
So a $2 donation from Dan. Appreciate it, Dan. He says, is it just me or Britton Venables looks like William Defoe?
He does. I've said that. We've said that on the show. Like sometimes if you remember when we did the AI coaches, Willem Dafoe as Brent Venables is about as close as you're going to get. I mean, Venables is 2 seconds away from staring at a green goblin mask and making bad decisions.
Let's go to a $2 donation from the Clue Glue. I can't deal with y'all today. I can't decide whether Tennessee's good or not in basketball. Someone help me.
First off, Tennessee is good. But here's the problems, I think, for Tennessee. And I've talked about this with Bob Baskerville on Fox Sports Radio Knoxville up there. It's a very similar team that we've seen Tennessee have in the past. They're elite defensively, really good defensively. Offensively, if Ziegler and Lanier are not hitting, they're just cannot consistently score enough to win games as good as the defense is. But I think there's another fatal flaw that Tennessee has. I don't think Tennessee has a front court player, so a center or a power forward, or even a big three if you want to count that can consistently put up points. I think that's a problem for Alabama too. So on the defensive end, I mean, you look at the guys that got down low, they're great defensively. They alter shots, they rebound, they're physical, but they're like a bunch of Cliff Omioris. You don't get anything on the offensive side. So they can play good defense, but if you're not, getting putbacks, and even like, they're like Dylan Cardwell for Auburn, for example. Like, they don't generate a lot of offense. They have a role. They're kind of the enforcers. You get that offensive rebound, kick it out to the wide open guy shooting the three. It helps. I think Tennessee can't win in a ton of ways. And when you do that, when you're built that way, you just can't advance far enough in the NCAA tournament to win it.
Let's go to a $20 donation from the Baker. Appreciate it, man. So isn't it funny when little brother broke older brother, those guys aren't going to come back. They're just slowly falling down. Don't feel bad for Nate Chokes and those inbreds in Tuscaloosa.
Okay, I was wondering who he was talking about for a while, but now I understand it's a Nate Oates reference. I think Alabama's going to be fine. I was watching a show where they were talking about they're worried about Alabama's offense. Bro, what? Y'all scored like 100 points a game. It's the defense. The defense is the problem. I mean, you scored 98 and lost by 12. You scored 85 and lost by 9. And you know what else is funny? In both those games, Alabama starts out against Auburn down 9-0. How much they lose by? 9. Start out the Missouri game down 12-0. How much you lose by? 12.
Against Auburn, they shot like 5 for 26 from 3. Awful.
And still scored 85 points.
Missouri, they were shooting well, right?
Mark Sears scored 35 points.
That doesn't help if you give up a basket every time down the court.
It's LSU's football team with Jaden Daniels. Yeah. That's what it is right now.
All right, boys, let's get to call. Or do you want to do bets? You want to do bets?
Yeah, let's do bets real quick, and then we'll get to calls. Let's do that. I'm going to hop my little...
Anything to not get to Kirk.
All right, tonight... Michigan State over 150.5. Yeah, I said it. That's a -110. Then Villanova at home against Marquette. Man, Marquette's not as good as what I thought they were going to be. They've kind of fallen, even though Cam Jones is a monster. Give me Villanova and Eric Dixon, who's been there for 32 years on the money line at +105.
All right, I'm going to take Michigan money line -150. Odds there, I'd like it a little bit better if they were lower, but they're taking on Michigan State. That game is at home. I got to take the Wolverines over Sparty. I'm going to take Marquette in that game you're talking about. Money line, -120, and we'll find out.
All right, pull my bet. Isn't this funny when you just make fun of Marquette for not being that good, and then the next two guys take
Makes
Marquette?
Me feel good about winning the month.
Oh, the month like we had a week of betting too?
It doesn't matter, dog. It's
crazy, right? It's like Canada winning that game. Michigan -2.5. David, I'm rolling with your boys.
Let's go.
All right, going up -120. And screw what Jake says. Give me Marquette -1.5.
Bet buds.
Come on.
With the Dragon.
Big dubs.
Dumpies will never work.
Dumpies will work, and I'm a Dragon.
He's going to take Robert Morris -14.5. That'd be pretty impressive for one dude. And then Marist -11.5 going off at -110.
All right, boys.
All right, let's do it.
Let's go ahead and get this one out of the way early.
I don't want this.
First one up on a Friday. Kirk in Canada. Go ahead, Kirk. What you got to say, man?
That was gold. That was awesome. Listen, this is the biggest thing. An international hockey game is the Natty, the Super Bowl, and the World Series all in one for us Canadians. So we're pretty excited, obviously. But
don't take the high road on this phone call.
Yeah, Kirk, don't take the high road. Don't take the high road.
Didn't you love how seriously our guys were taking it, though? I mean, Brady Kachuk's out here saying this is bigger than a Game 7 for me. Like, these guys aren't getting paid a single buck, and they're putting their all into it. That's what's going to make the sport great.
Oh, listen. 1 year from tomorrow, gentlemen, mark it down. Gold medal game, Italy, probably Canada versus U.S. for a gold medal. It's, February 22nd, 2026. We're marking it down on our calendars already. We can't wait. So,
Kirk, let me ask you this, though.
Leave Kirk on. Leave Kirk on the line.
Yeah. Kirk, I want to ask you one thing, though. Like, 1-1, how does it finish 1-1? We got to fix this, dude. Like, I like the way college baseball does it, where you have the tournament right before, and it's actually double elimination. So it's even kind of more like it than, I know it's not round robin format, but the two teams that make the championship, it's a best of 3 series. What I don't understand is how do you not get punished for losing a game leading up to the championship? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
It's a fair question. It's just like in a round robin tournament, if a team doesn't go undefeated, they're going to lose a game. Keep in mind the United States lost to Sweden as well, so we
but like we had already locked up the championship berth. So
there's a loser's bracket penalty though in every sport that I've seen in a round robin format.
No, it's a fair question, and that's the good thing about the Olympics. There's more than 4 teams. I mean, let's be honest. This is a 4-game tournament. It's the smallest tournament I've ever heard of. So it was an experiment, and the
works.
NHL knocked it
I
out
actually
of the park.
think it's better for America's interest in hockey that America lost last night because we beat them after they booed the national anthem on their territory.
Right.
But now, and if we had won this one, America would just say, oh, well, we're better than them. That was just a flash in the pan thing we'll forget about. But now that we lost, it's going to sit with us.
And that gold medal, that's what Kirk's talking about in the Olympics.
It's going to sit with us. And
Kirk,
I think
y'all have to come play us in football, Kirk.
Yeah, you got to play some football.
I gotta say real quick. Every Canadian who booed in Montreal is a complete idiot. Okay, that was the most disgraceful thing I've ever seen in sports. Okay, the only reason Canada hasn't been invaded ever is because the greatest superpower in the history of Earth is at our southern border. Okay, to boo the American national anthem is insane. Okay, keep in mind it was in Montreal. It was in Montreal. Montreal is like your San Francisco down there. It's the most liberal place in the whole. If it was in any other city, Calgary, Edmonton, even Toronto, Halifax, Winnipeg, BC, Vancouver, that would not have happened.
Kurt, you're a dual citizen to me. That's the way I see
it. even the people where I was at a restaurant with my two sons and a bunch of people. Not one person was, we were all disgusted. We're like, stop booing, you stupid idiots.
Yeah. Good to hear that.
Anyway.
Thank you, Kurt.
All right,
Kurt, thank you.
I'll think about not invading your country now.
Yeah, you know what? Let's get those tariffs down to 10%.
Game 3 on a random pond next week. See you there.
Yeah, appreciate it, buddy.
If you don't show up, you forfeit. Thanks, man.
Come play the Ravens.
All right, now that we got that out of the way, we'll get back to our format here. Let's go to Brian in Nebraska. Brian, you got 60 seconds. What's your hot take, man? Hopefully it's on this Tennessee game.
Yeah, what's up, fellas? It's been a while since I called in, so congrats, Jake.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, I'll concede that the optics don't necessarily look good, but this game was originally slated for 2016, 2017, and for some reason Tennessee had to move it, and so Nebraska agreed. And what happened this time around was Nebraska wanted to move it, and Tennessee said, "No, we ain't moving it." So then Nebraska pulled out. So, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say they're ducking the smoke. I don't think that's primarily the reason why, but I mean, that's obviously a biased take, too.
Just quickly, you paid $500,000. Like, you paid $500,000 to not play this game.
Yeah, I just, but again, to Brian's, and this is why I set it up the way I did when we were talking about it, Brian, is that I'm not in the building to know exactly what happened or why. But for the rest of the college football world, and you acknowledge this, it just doesn't look good.
I think Brian's gone. Oh, yeah, he agrees. He doesn't think it looks good. All right, thanks for calling, brother. Let's go to Brett in California. Brett, what's going on, man? What's your hot take?
My hot take is this. So I'm a lifelong NBA fan. I played basketball my whole life, but the NBA has obviously gone down the drain. And I was looking at the stat between who's watching hockey and basketball. NBA is still overtaking it, but the NHL is slowly catching up. I think if the NBA doesn't fix their all-star format or players sitting out in 10 to 15 years, you might see NHL overtake the NBA and the NBA become like the 5th most watched sport in America if they don't fix anything.
Brett, and I mean, look, people love college basketball too. I mean, you look at the numbers March Madness does compared. Yeah, the numbers March Madness does compared to the NBA playoffs. It's even getting further and further. But I don't know if it's going to take 10 years, bro. I don't know if it's going to even take that long. And that's why on Locker Room Talk the other day, we talked about how the NHL is not competing against the NFL. You will never overtake the NFL. You're competing against the NBA and Major League Baseball. That's why it was such a huge win for the NHL, because you made up even more ground on them. Guys, NBA players are even saying it's better. Like Draymond Green NBA players are saying this is better. Adam Silver, and look, LeBron James killed the NBA. Fakes reading books and killed the NBA. Not my king.
All right, let's go to John in Alabama. John, what's your hot take?
Yo, what's up, guys? I got 2 hot takes. One is, black pepper. Some softies might think it's spicy, but
I like it.
I wouldn't say so. The second one's probably like Carolina Reaper level.
Oh, okay.
So first one, I think the SEC will have 3 teams in San Antonio.
Love it.
And the second one, really spicy. All right? I think that Auburn in football will have an equal or better record than Alabama.
Okay.
A lot of
Carolina
things go into that at the
Okay.
end. A lot of things can go into that at the end.
Yeah. So is that what would you say the records would be? Give me the records right now while we still have you on.
Maybe
8-4?
I mean, most likely would probably be 9-3, 8-4, or
Okay.
I guess 8-4 if both of them are safe.
Who wins the Iron Bowl?
I don't know. I think that would. I don't know. I mean, you got to give the edge to Auburn since they're home.
Yeah.
I'd
It'd be tough for Auburn to have a better record, but lose the Iron Bowl, right?
Can I say, leave John on just for 1 second. Leave him on. I'm going to say this. I think your first take is hotter than your second, actually. I think you hit us with the Carolina Reaper first because, number one, it's the NCAA tournament. All bets are off. But number two, it's the NCAA tournament, and we don't know how they're going to seed these teams. They may put a bunch of SEC teams in one quadrant or on one side. We see this in college baseball with super regionals all the time. Like, you'll have 4 super regionals that are all SEC teams. I'm so interested to see if the SEC gets 12 or 13 teams in, not just where they seed them number-wise, but how quickly they would play each other.
Right. Yeah, I might have to call in and reassess if there's a bunch of 8 SEC teams in the South or something.
Yeah, we'll see. But John, I like it.
Great call, John.
Hey, John. Thanks for calling in, brother. We appreciate it. All right, let's go to Daryl in New Hampshire. Daryl, talk to us, man. What's your hot take?
Hey, guys. I got a punt or go.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The NFL needs to get rid of the dynamic kickoff and go back to the old game. Go back to the game of football we all used to play.
Go
100%. We're all in agreement. The new dynamic kickoff is neither kickoff nor dynamic.
Or just completely take it out. Completely take it out. Let's just start at the 25.
No, see, now you're
start at 25, pick your hash. Let's go.
Kickoff is a part of football. It's where you put the ball where you kick it. You have 5 guys line up on one side of you, or 4 and 6, however you get down. I used to like the 4-6 model because we put it on the left hash and I try and corner you. But we're trying to baby-proof the game so much, it's not looking like the game anymore. Like, to me, it's like if you're like in NASCAR, it's like, hey, guys, from now on, we got to slow down around these turns. That's the most dangerous part, is when you turn. So we got to slow down around these turns. You sign the paper. Nobody is making you play football or whatever. So I think I think America's going on it, and I hope Trump fixes it.
I would rather them take it out than keep the dynamic kickoff.
Special teams coach, what do you say?
No, I wouldn't because then they're going to start. They already moved the extra point back. Then they're just going to slowly start eliminating special teams from the game, and then my boys are going to lose jobs. So I don't like the precedent that's set.
All right, let's go to Tennyson in Iowa. Tennyson, what's your hot take?
My hot take is, I mean, it's actually, it's kind of depressing, but I think A&M's downslide is going to start tomorrow, and they won't win a game until the SEC tournament. I think that it's going to be, that we always have a season slump. I think it's going to start tomorrow. Well,
Tennyson. Almost said it. Flaming. Can you put up the pull up A&M's?
Basketball, correct?
Schedule? Yeah.
All right. The rest of their schedule, y'all have
Tennessee
at home, Vandy at home. Damn. At Florida, Auburn at home, at LSU.
Oh no, man! Y'all split that. Y'all split that. You get LSU at home. I think you'll beat Vandy at home. Hey, let me ask you this, Tennyson. Is this the best offense that Buzz Williams has had at A&M?
Oh, for sure. Because I think now that Wade has been in the system for as long as he has, he's got the experience, but he doesn't have to be the guy. A&M's got 6 or 7 different guys.
Phelps is a bucket.
It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. They have so many other ways that they can beat you. And if you've seen in the last couple of games, Anderson Garcia may not be putting up 15 to 20 points a night, but have you seen the way he can distribute the ball? If they're running the offense for him, it's surgical.
Well, I like Payne. I like Zurich Phelps. Anderson, I mean, they call him the Dominican Rodman for a reason. I love the way he plays the game.
Texas and A&M's going to be sneaky in the tournament.
I tell you that, man, Missouri, bro. Missouri's going to be a tough out, dog. They remind me of the 2019 Auburn team.
Last caller of the week. Let's get to David in Tampa. What's your hot take, David?
Hey, guys. I don't really have a hot take, but I just want to say how awesome it is to see the SEC dominate in basketball, because I remember there was a period of time when Florida was the only football school, more or less, who actually took basketball seriously.
Yeah.
So to see the likes of Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and others actually take this sport seriously. It's just really incredible to see. You know, as we always say in the SEC, it just means more. That's all I have, guys. I hope you all have a great weekend.
You too, Dave.
Hey, you too, brother, and you're 100% right. If you've kept up with
always wonder, like, what was the moment? What was the moment someone pissed off the SEC and the SEC said, okay, that's fine. We're going to be good at this.
And I'm trying to go back to it. You know, you look when Bruce Pearl was hired at Auburn. This is his 11th year, so it would be 2014. I feel like it was around like 2012 to 2013 when the money investments started coming in and they started, you know, really taking it seriously. Because if you look at the timeline of the coaches that got into the SEC, that's when everything started to really take off. Because again, keeping up with the Joneses is a very real thing in the Southeastern Conference. Even if you're a football school, if you're a Tennessee fan and you're watching Florida have a ton of success or Georgia have a ton of success, that's going to piss you off and you want to do that. Look at Auburn and Alabama. Auburn hires Bruce Pearl. They start rocking and rolling. All of a sudden, Alabama looks and they're like, well, we got to start taking basketball even more serious now. Auburn makes a Final Four. They bring in Nate Oates. They start throwing money in the program. They make a Final Four. It's just like this ricochet effect in the positive.
Can you really call it dominating, though, if the SEC is 72-72 in conference play? I mean,
okay, Carl Ravage.
That just means mid to me.
Yeah, it's okay, Carl Ravage.
Do you think Carl Ravage will recover from that comment?
I hope so, because I think he's a good dude. He does great with baseball, but
he does a good job.
I would just the thing about that pissed me off was that he tried to act like he said it after, tongue in cheek. And if you go back and like listen, it's like, no, you didn't. You saw that and you were like, well, nobody's brought this up yet. This will surprise them on the thing. I just wonder at what point after he said it, because then I think they went to commercial break right after. If Jimmy Dykes was like, Carl, like, hey, man, I don't know if you've looked at social media yet, but you do realize that they could only be 500 because they all play each other. And somebody asked
it seems pretty mid to me.
Conspiracy.
Yeah. All right, let's get to...
all right, let's get these donations. If you donated today on this Flaming Dragon Friday, thank you so much.
Shout out, Dumpy.
We're going to go with a $5 donation from TMD65. Says maybe Hooters went bankrupt because every location turned into a sad divorced dad meetup.
Well, you think they do. You look at the divorce rate, they ought to be killing it then. If you think about it, many people get divorced now. I did see a fantastic idea during football season. I can't remember what restaurant it was, but they would change the name on Saturday to like the husband drop-off. So like the wives, if they wanted to go shopping, they just drop their husbands off there and there's beer and food and they got all the games on.
There you go.
And like you just see these random men just getting dropped off, like stepping out of the minivan and going up there.
$5 donation from My Flat. Did Hooters fail because they refused to serve boneless wings?
No.
It's 2025. People want options.
That's not... If you draw the line at transgender chicken wings, then... or chicken nuggets, then I don't think there's enough people in that. But look, I like boneless wings, but they're chicken nuggets. That's what they are. We need to call them what they are. All right, there's two sexes. The government says it now. You have chicken nuggets and you have chicken wings. Okay, and then chicken tenders. I'll even give you that.
Yeah, strips.
The buy of chicken.
Is there a distinction between tenders and strips, or is that?
I just think it's...
Close your eyes and I'll show you. Let's go to a $5 donation from the user. He said, instead of dumpies, what about chicken and cheeks? That ain't bad.
You already have a competitor to
that
your
ain't
idea?
bad. That ain't bad right there.
I am just thinking it's like, hey, honey, you want to go eat at Chicken and Cheeks tonight?
They got an appetizer special.
I want to ask the ladies out there, how many ladies go to like a Hooters?
No, first off, there's none listening anymore. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
They left a while.
I've never walked into Hooters and be like, damn, there's a lot of women patrons in here. That's at Tallywhackers down the street.
His idea already has a competitor. I can't believe this.
Well, wait till you see the hot dog restaurant that I'm opening up called Wieners, Wieners, Wieners. You're going to love that. Especially on
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'll wave at you as I drive by.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Jake on Broadway.
Flaming Dragon's going to be spinning the sign.
All right, money.
$1.99 donation from Seth. Appreciate it, Seth. Defensive turnovers are Bama's problems. Those are hard to fix this late into the season.
True.
$2 donation from the Quattro. Appreciate it. JMU wants Nebraska. We need a big W to join the ACC.
Look, I love JMU. Like, even after Signetti left, they're like, "Oh, we're still a big dog." I respect it.
$5 donation from Dallas. Canada can bring all they want. How about they play us in a real sport, not ice soccer? Literally any other sport, Canada gets cooked. We need a rubber match.
Ice.
That's my thing. Well, you brought it up, Flamin' Dragon. You're like, hey, we played y'all in y'all's thing. Now, y'all put the best football players from Canada, and we'll let y'all play Vandy or something and just wax y'all.
$5 donation from B58 Maddie. Don't care. Canada still has 0 SEC champions.
Yeah, they haven't won one yet. No SEC championships.
Let's go to a $5 donation from the Ram. Appreciate it. Hooters was on the way out when they didn't renew their sponsorship on Chase Elliott's race car going into this year.
Yeah, we actually... Hold that. Keep reading the donations. Hold on.
What are you doing?
Oh, you'll see. Keep going. Read.
Now I'm just freaked out. Let's go to a $2 donation from the Takeover. Why not let Rick Ross buy Hooters and turn it into the Thigh Stop? Shaq saved Wings. Keep the theme, and wings actually taste good. Wingstop's not terrible.
No. What? Hold on. I may have found it. Oh!
There he is.
Oh!
Bring him over.
You right.
Hooters lives here.
You right.
Yeah, now
you just broke everything.
No, I didn't. You right, though. They screwed Chase over, dog.
Look at that. Chase. What's up, Chase?
Guess what? Him and Hooters have in common? They both folded.
No.
That's all the donations.
Yeah, bankruptcy
today, guys. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah.
They're just restructuring.
Hey, by the way, the underhit, play the graphic.
Who cares? There wasn't even a line.
Chase Elliott approves.
There wasn't even a line. We botched it. We botched it. Can't win a hockey game. Guess we don't like boobs anymore, and we can't get a line out there for Flaming Dragon Friday. What are we doing?
Yeah,
that's your fault.
I know. Anyways, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you have a great weekend. Check out Locker Room Talk. We're gonna drop one tomorrow. Think you're gonna like the chances.
$5 donation from Sir. Appreciate it, Sir. Cosmic Brownies banned. Hooters bankrupt. Hide your wives and children. Run for cover.
Hold on.
God has abandoned us.
What happened to Cosmic Brownies?
Cosmic Brownies banned.
That's Reed's favorite brownie.
Banned?
How's it banned? I have some sitting on top of my fridge. I may or may not have some sitting on top. Why are they banned though?
We got them. Good.
I don't know, but it's your fault.
Like the chances of me giving up my Cosmic Brownies. That's not right. We're going. Hey! Oh, my God! Let's go. Have a good weekend.